The new facility, they spent well over a year in building it with the permits, getting the oven right, getting the tables laid out right. They put in some time and some money and some effort to do things the right way. And at this point, it's up and running. We're into September 2011. United Composites is up and running and producing blanks. So I thought it was an opportune time for me to go ahead and drop over there with the camera, take a few stills, take a little bit of movie camera stuff, and show what they're doing and what they've accomplished. Now in California we have 3 of the top fishing rods manufactured in the world, and I will say the 3 top in the world, undeniably in my opinion, between CalStar, Seeker, and United Composites. United Composites are only available as blanks at the present time. There are no factory wrapped rods. However, we do some factory, well, not factory, we do some custom rod work here on those blanks. But they are some super pieces. Maybe we'll do another brief video going over what differentiates them from any other blanks on the market, because they are different than any other blanks on the market. So enough of me, let's go over and check out the factory. Basically, this is Kevin from United Composites, formerly Graphite USA, in the new factory, and here we go. Kevin, you're on.
All right, thanks, Mark. We'll just run through the process here real quick with you guys. This is where it all starts. Actually, it starts with the design work, but once the designs are done, this is our cutting table, our material. Pull it out, measure it, and cut the flags right here.
And by flags, that's just the terminology for the blank material.
Yeah, I can show you one right here that we've just cut. And this would be for one of our ultralights. So you can, nice little thin strip of material. And later on we'll get to the process and what happens with those and what they turn into. Well,
now the board back behind these are just orders that you have in process or in progress?
This is our whiteboard, so these are outstanding orders that we're working on.
Okay.
That's where we keep them and track them and try to keep them in order, first in, first out. Yeah. This is our mandrel warming table. This is what all the material gets rolled up on.
So you say mandrel warming. You want to have the mandrels at a certain specified temperature?
We like to have them somewhere between 120 and 130. They're warm, almost hot, but we have to handle them, so we don't want to. So this is on a, this is all rebuilt and custom made. It's part of what we were doing when we were down for that year. And this will be our tacking table. So as we move along, we got our mandrels. We've got our material cut, and we move on down here. We put our flags here on this table, so that we can pull our patterns off as we need them.
Now on the flags, how many flags per rod, or does that depend on the rod that's being built?
It could be anywhere from 2 to 15 or 16, because we are we're building everything from ultralight trout rods to rail rods. And so different amounts of material depends on what we're building that particular rod. And this is our rolling table. We take one flag at a time, put them on here, put the mandrels on the flags and roll them up. Now all our material is impregnated with resins. So there is an optimum working temperature with this stuff. If it's a little too cold, it's stiff and doesn't want to roll right. A little too hot, and the resin, it almost just starts melting on you. So we do need to keep a temperature controlled space. Here we go. One flag down.
Wow, very cool.
Simple as that. And we move across the aisle here to our cello wrap machine. This material, once it reaches a certain temperature, pretty much turns to liquid. So we have to encase that so that it doesn't drip off of the mandrels and pile up on the floor in the bottom of the oven.
Okay.
So that's what this step is. It's where we put the cellophane on to hold everything in place, keep the shape.
Uh-huh.
We just get a little starter on there. And this is all operated, by air and compression. And, we have to dial everything in, different size blanks and different types of material have different pressures. We've been working all of those out since we reopened again to dialing these machines in.
It's all on the bottom, so different positions on the pedal determine what it does. So right now the wheels are down, it's not moving, but you give it a bit of a push and it goes.
You probably get a better shot of it coming up
Yeah.
the other end there, what it looks like.
The faster you push, the faster it goes.
Turn it off and tape it up, and that part is now ready to head over to the oven.
Yeah.
So it's basically ready to go into the oven right now. So, we line them all up, do them one after the other, lay them on the table. That's why we've got nice wide tables, nice long tables. And yeah, basically sit there until they go into the oven at the end of the day.
And this is where they come after we put the shuttle wrap on. This is our oven. We've rebuilt this thing, tore it down, put it back together. It is one of the largest ovens as far as blank operations go, manufacturing anywhere in the country. I couldn't tell you what the volume would be, but I'll open it up here in a second and you can take a look inside. Let me turn it off first. We've got actually some blanks cooking in there. Anyway, we hang them. They're heavy. It helps keep the mandrel straight in the cooking process. We do have a little airflow there. You can see them swinging around a little bit, just inherent with the convection oven.
How long do you bake them?
Usually right around the final cure process to harden everything up and get them ready to pull off. About an hour to an hour and a half. Then there is some steps to that. The whole process is probably about 2.5 hours start to finish from the time. They're cured, and we put the mandrels on this table. This is our mandrel puller. This is all fabricated to our specifications. Back in the day, this was a pretty rickety little deal right here. So we've added a lot of safety features and built it up well beyond what the maximum pressure will ever be on for safety reasons. This operates with one switch and a lever to remove our ram. And this pulls the blank off of the mandrel. Actually, you would put the mandrel in here, bring this down on top to hold it in place. These are our dies. They've all been sized to our mandrels. So we know with a certain size mandrel will take a specific die. That way we don't damage our mandrels while we're doing this process here. And from here, once we pull them off, then we go back over to the other side and they're ready for sanding. We move from the mandrel puller and we come over to our sander, and this is where we start putting the finish on.
Oh yeah.
That's our finished product.
Yeah, amazing.
Knock those lines out and make it nice and smooth.
That's a big difference.
And
And
now-
I'm thinking of some of the import blanks I've seen, that you can see those stripping on it. You know, I never knew that that's simply because they missed that part of the process.
Either they just decided not to do it.
Yeah.
It is pretty much a cosmetic thing.
Yep.
So some companies don't do it. We prefer to have a smooth finish.
Yep.
And, that's just what we do. Oh, that's good.
Probably catch that. Okay, so after this process, then what happens?
We take all the blanks and then we go and size them, make sure they all have the right tip sizes, make sure they have, you know, the right length. You know, and that's when we also ID the rods. Each rod, you know, is ID'd from the beginning, and we make sure that label follows it through the entire process to the sander, and then from then we go and write on the blanks.
So you probably have almost, what, 6 different QC steps along the way on the
Yeah.
process?
Yeah, there's a few, basically, you know, several steps along the way, but each step we have to make sure it's done right and the label follows the rod. Otherwise, you get to this point and
It's not the same.
it's not the same, you know,
Yep.
and it's very easy to get stuff mistaken.
Yep.
So it's a very important step because we can't be sending the wrong rods to the wrong customers. Basically, we take the rods to the sander, bring them over to here. This is where our other belt sander is, and our saw. This is for what we use for sizing. So basically, we take the rod that has its ID with it. We look it up in our catalog here, which has all the tip sizes, and you see that this one here has a tip size of 5. So we take our tip gauge. Very much like what a rod builder does. So they measure it, see where it sticks out, and then we just basically mark it, and that'll be our mark for our length. And we use our tape measure, mark it at the other end. Mark it at the other end. Then we basically just trim up the tip, make it all nice and neat, and do the same with the back end.
You can see basically what we're cutting off there is that pulling line.